So you might be thinking, the girl effect is inspiring, a remarkable phenomenon. Or maybe you think, hey, this sounds good, but it just seems too far-fetched. Or maybe you think it's ridiculous. I've read comments online that the girl effect is sexist. There was actually this video created called the idiot effect, making fun of the concept. I believe everybody is entitled to their perspective, and that perspective is shaped by their age, gender, geographic location, education, and so on. I'm here to share with you my perspective about the power of the ripple effect, first through the eyes of an adolescent girl, and then through the eyes of a woman. My perspective is shaped by my personal experience as it relates to the girl effect, and it all begins with a 14-year-old girl, my mother. My mother was married at 14, and her mother was married at 16. Unfortunately, neither one of them was able to complete a high school education. They grew up so fast, they became wives and mothers with a lot of responsibility very early. I've seen the impact that early marriage has had on their education, their confidence, and their financial security. Despite this, they are both amazing women that I look up to. They taught me resilience, perseverance, and to appreciate every single day what I have. Okay, so where do I fit in this picture? I was born in the US, raised in Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa until I was 13, and then we moved to Canada during my teenage years. When I was young, marriage was still very important and encouraged, believe me. However, I was really, really lucky to have a father that valued education tremendously, even for his daughters. So when I got accepted into Queen's University, 2 hours away from home, my father decided to let me go, despite a lot of shock and disapproval from various members of the family. What was he doing, letting this young 17-year-old Lebanese girl go away? I will never forget one of my uncles telling me, "Bassima, darling, listen, all you need to do is learn Microsoft Word and Excel. So when you get married, you can help your husband with his business." I wasn't too excited about the idea. It took a lot of courage and risk for my father to let me go, but he chose to invest in me, to trust me, and to go against cultural norms. It was the biggest gift he could have given me, and I consider it to be the most important turning point of my life. So why do I share this with you? Well, the girl effect talks about the ripple effect. If we invest in education for girls in developing countries, they won't marry as early. Their children will be healthier. They'll earn more money, and they'll reinvest 90% of what they earn into their families. This, in turn, has the potential to impact the economies of their nations. So now this little girl has grown up. She's a woman. She's working at a Fortune 500 company, or maybe at the government. Is that enough? What if we took that ripple effect concept even further? We know there's a gap in gender diversity at the most senior leadership level in our workforce. So what if we invest in women and close that gap? Well, our story could go something like this. If we invest seriously in women, women would have access to great mentors. They would become role models to others. A new leadership profile would emerge that is much more conducive to our diverse workforce. This, in turn, has the potential to impact growth and innovation. So you might be wondering, why is she talking about this with such confidence? Well, on one hand, it's because there are so many studies out there that show this. There's this one study, it was interesting, it was done by McKinsey. What they did is they identified 4 leadership behaviors as most effective in addressing the global challenges of the future. Turns out, those 4 leadership behaviors are in short supply today. They took the study one step further and learned that actually women apply 3 out of those 4 behaviors more frequently than men. Guys, don't kill me. This isn't about men versus women. This is really about why it's so important for our future to have diverse leadership styles represented by both men and women. So my proposal to you is, if you think about all of this, right, these are just studies, but if I think introspectively about my personal experience of the ripple effect, let me share with you 3 examples that I believe contribute to that ripple effect. First, there's mentorship. Second is about looking beyond a person's resume. And third is about leveraging diverse leadership styles. I've had senior leaders open their doors to me, both men and women. They've listened and supported me. They've challenged me and encouraged me to dream big. Because of this, I have become a mentor to others. I get to pay it forward, and I feel a great sense of reward knowing what it could mean to that person. A few years ago, I had the opportunity to work at a distribution center in Belgium. I had no experience in logistics. On paper, I wasn't necessarily the ideal profile. However, I was offered the opportunity, and it was the best thing that happened to me. Like my father, someone decided to take a chance on me and to invest in me. They told me I had a positive impact on the business, and it became a turning point for me in my career. Having sponsors that were willing to look beyond my resume, that saw value in my diverse background, made all the difference. So I'm sure all of us in the room have experienced very different leadership styles. For those who know me, I'm passionate and I tend to be really expressive, as you can tell. And sometimes this can be interpreted as emotional or aggressive. I feel it's my personality, but over the years, I've learned how best to adjust that style. However, I also speak to women whose personalities are on the opposite side of the spectrum. They may be a lot less expressive. They feel they are misjudged as lacking leadership or unable to influence. They tell me, Bassima, I feel like I now need to adjust my style. I'm not suggesting that we don't all have room for improvement. I certainly do. I always will. I think the opportunity we all have is to dig a little bit deeper to understand and appreciate the different leadership styles and what that could mean. I hope this gives you an idea of my experience with the ripple effect, first as an adolescent girl and then as a woman. Any one of us in this audience can start a ripple effect. The next time you look at an adolescent girl or a grown woman, actually she may be in the audience today, your wife, your niece, or a coworker. My hope is that you see the role you can play in creating a ripple and the amazing impact this can have on our world. Thank you so much. And thank you. The one last thing I'd like to add is that incredible video that you saw, that inspiring video, is all from Wyden, and big thank you to them for that. Thank you.